Yo, what's up, bro? I'm back. Today, we're on step 2. Identify support and resistance. Okay? So we're going to go over what support and resistance is. So let's make a new page. So to start, I went over this a little in the first video, but support and resistance is levels, basically. So support is like a floor. Resistance is like a ceiling. It's pretty it's not really that difficult to get the concept of this one. Market structure is honestly harder to get a grasp of because it comes with a bit of experience. But support is like a floor, resistance is like a ceiling. So I'll draw it out on the chart. Let's see. Right here. So let's say this is your resistance, this is your support. Price is staying in between these levels. Now, I'm sorry I can't do a perfect Picasso, but this is what we got. This is called a resistance. Because why? Because price is using this level and rejecting from it. So it's clearly resisting it. And this is a support because every time price touches this level, it bounces off. Okay? Pretty simple, okay? Support and resistance isn't really that hard to grasp. It's pretty common, but what you need to know is you need to know what levels you're going to be focusing on, okay? So let's go over the trade I took today, okay? I took ES buys, and it printed pretty well. And why did I take it? Basically from the strategy, but mainly because it was above this level. What do you notice at this level? 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, And yeah, we knew that this was a level. Okay, structure was bullish because you remember in the last video how I told you, okay, if market is creating higher highs, then it's bullish, meaning we're going to go higher. So you draw this, pull back, boom, boom, boom. It's not the prettiest representation, but that's basically what happened today. Price, we'll replay it. Start new. We'll replay it. So price opened up. I was watching the market. I actually did not take this trade until I think it was like 10 a.m., which is like 2 hours after the market opens. So I'm watching price on a 4 hour. It's the next candle. Yeah. So you see how price closed above this previous high right here, aka also a major level of resistance on a 4 hour. Because remember, we're following the market on a 4 hour structure. So if you look at this, price closed above. So what did I need to see? I need to see momentum to push it higher. So what does price do? Let's go down to an hourly. Price tests this level, and we're not getting in just because it's testing the level. I waited. Okay, you see how this 4 hour close inside? This right here is a support. Okay, you know why? Because it's touching right here. It's touching right here. I could draw the zone bigger. And then one thing you want to note, support and resistance can be represented. Oh, I can't spell. By, good thing I dropped out of college. By lines. Okay, so you saw how I had lines on the chart, or zones, which are like the boxes I drew. Okay, so we're gonna look, and what do you see? Okay, price, this right here, boom, resistance turns into support. I also said that in the first video. So go back if you need to. So remember that a support can turn into a resistance, meaning, let's say, price was bouncing. I'm a terrible artist. Let's say price was bouncing off this level, and then it broke through, and then it pushed back to this level, and then dropped lower. that is when price changes, and then vice versa. If we were at a resistance, price rejecting, then boom, pushes through. That's a perfect example right here. So I'm going to do a whole separate video on another reason why I took this trade at the time I did. But basically, it was between two levels. Meaning, it was, excuse me, it was in a 4-hour range. We knew that this was support because if you go down to a 1 hour, what do you see? Price bounced off this level, and then it also was a resistance right here, and right here. So we know that that level is valid, especially on a 4-hour, because when you see a 4-hour level like this, chances are it's going to follow that 4-hour movement. Okay? So we're waiting for price to jump up out of here and pull back, honestly, and close above. That's what I was waiting for. So let's see what it did. Boom. You saw how it closed bullish engulfing, strong above the level? That's another indication to buy. Once it broke out of this range, closed above the range, because remember, this is a resistance, this is a support. That is equal highs, equal lows, meaning we were in a range. So once price closes outside of that range, I know that, okay, this is the direction the market has chosen. That was my bias for today. So what did I do? I waited for a pullback to the same level, because what comes up must come down. Once I saw that price pull back to the level, let's go on a 5-minute. Okay, I saw it push past the level right here, but I was like, I wasn't upset that I missed out on this, because I'd rather get in with a pullback, because price can come up here and then just take me out and then go higher. So I'd rather get the higher probability, because remember what I told you. You got to remember this. Trading is a probability game. Okay, so what was I doing? I was waiting. Okay, price was pushing. Then guess what? We start getting a pullback. Okay, I knew that price was going to at least test this area. So I waited. Okay, then price rejected at this level clean. You see this wick rejection? Remember how I told you fake outs? Everybody who thought it was going to sell under this level got faked out. Okay, we'll go over fake outs in another video. But listen, I saw this right here. Right here. I was like, all right, I'm very confident in buys. So I waited, and I got in on this next candle because I saw good volume, good pressure. My stop loss was really like down here, but I moved it up because as I go into profit, I move up my stop. We'll go over that too in another video. But basically, this trade, look, you see how it almost stopped me out? Like my stop was like this. Basically, this trade printed beautifully. And you know why? Because of market structure and levels. Let's go over some more support and resistance zones, okay? You don't want to look at price and be like, oh, okay, this is a zone right here because it bounced right here. No, it needs to have multiple touches. You need to understand 1, 2, 3 touches, okay? We knew that this was a clear resistance on a 4-hour. Just because it has one touch means nothing. And it depends on the time frame you're on too, because if I were to go down to this 1 hour and be like, okay, this is the level right here. I'm in when price breaks above and holds above. No, I mean, it could work, but you'd have to be extra patient. And then on top of that, this level is not valid to me. This whole area is in a range, so it means nothing to me. Okay? It takes a bit of experience, but the more you see the chart, you'll start to see it. Just don't mark out levels on like a 30-minute, a 15-minute, or a 5, because chances are those are like just temporary levels. These are major levels I'm paying attention to. Remember, our levels, here, we'll write this down. Levels can be areas of support and resistance on the higher time frames, or you could mark out a previous structure high on a higher time frame. And higher time frame meaning daily and 4 hour. For me, some people trade on the 1 hour, but the consistency that I've been seeing has been coming from the daily time frame and the 1 hour. And you see how when you trade with the trend, you're more probable to win and you can catch a bigger move. I could have held this longer, but I was tired of sitting in this trade. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But yeah. So just make sure you know this. We'll go out on a fresh chart and mark it out. Okay, I'll get rid of all my US 30 stuff. And keep in mind, let's write this down, because I used to mess up just like this. Don't mark out levels on lower time frames, because those could be temporary. You don't know if that's a real level. The market moves with the biggest first. So we got weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, okay? The weekly is going to be the strongest, okay? But weekly levels, you know, it's I don't know. Me personally, I stick to daily levels and 4 hour levels. So I'm looking at this chart and I know that this is a level right here, okay? Because this was a previous high. And remember, we're focused on structure. So we knew that this was a previous high. And pay attention, only use levels that were interacted with recently. Meaning, don't go on this daily time frame and be like, oh, this right here is a level because it was a previous high. Look how long ago this was. Price then shifted structure, came back and did all this. Focus on what's going on right here. This picture right here. Because this was the previous high. Don't get caught up trying to look at other stuff. Because that's what I used to do. So pay attention to previous highs. And we go on a 4 hour. What do we see? Okay. This daily level is very, very valid. You know why? Because we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3. You know, this level was clearly a level of resistance. And what happened? Price broke through, pulled back, never retested the level. Sometimes it doesn't do that. You got to understand that. Sometimes you won't get the level retest. So you just got to wait till it breaks the high in that instance. But that's another thing. But we knew that this resistance turned into support. This was a major 4 hour level. I honestly, on this one, I'd mark this out because this was a previous high. And then also, if you pay attention, this level right here is technically a whole level because you got 1 touch, 2 touch. And then once it turned into resistance, once it turned into support, it came back, touched this level, came higher. Okay, let's go back. Let's say we're looking at, let's say, I'm going to just pick a random spot in the market, okay? I'm closing my eyes. Okay. Man, hold on. Alright. So I'm going on the 4 hour. Excuse me. What do we notice? Right away, once you start understanding what levels make sense, you're going to recognize it just as quick as I can. You see how fast I just pulled this off the top of my head? Why is this a level? Okay, you got 1 touch, 2 touch, okay? Well, why is this a level? Resistance turned into support, okay? And then price bouncing off this level, it's probably going to go higher. Why? Because structure is bullish. A. B. It was constantly rejecting this level. It was stuck in a range. Remember what I said? It was stuck between 2 levels, equal highs and equal lows. So that tells me price is probably going to push higher. So let's see what it did. Okay. And just like that, you could have caught this whole move just based off that 4 hour structure. Okay. You could have waited for a pullback to the level. Okay, you got the candle pullback. Then this candle closed strong. I don't even trade off a 4 hour, but look at the risk to reward on this. Do you understand? After this video and you rewatching it a couple times, you should understand why these 4 hour and daily levels, these higher time frame levels, are so valid because this is how the market moves. And you just got to get with it or find something else. But I like to trade simple, bro. And this is simple. I've done traded all kind of mumbo jumbo. What was it, bro? I done learned turtle soup, liquidity sweep, inverse fair value gaps, and all that. Like, bro, I didn't learn all kind of indicator setup. You don't need no indicator. The chart will tell you where it wants to go. You just got to pay attention to the key details, and you have to be able to spot those. And what I'm teaching you is how to spot the right ones. Because I used to look at YouTube. I used to be like, man, how the hell, which zones do I pay attention to? And I couldn't find the answer. So, like I said, man, just follow support and resistance. We can mark out more levels. Okay? This is a level right here. But again, don't pay attention to what's going on back here unless we're looking at price right here. Okay? Because this means nothing. You're just having a bunch of extra shit on your chart. Trust me, I used to do it. I used to mark that. Oh, it's touching right here, touching right here, touching right here. No, that could be a level. But pay attention to what's going on up here. You don't want to bombard your chart with all kind of extra stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for support and resistance. It's really not that difficult. If you need help, bro, just DM me on Insta or, you know, text me if you got my shit. But I'm out, brother. I'll see y'all tomorrow.